Hello everyone, my name's John as Panda and welcome back to the Cancer series where I talk about my stories of being in hospital and going through treatment and all that stuff. This is part 4. If you have missed any of the other parts, there will be a link to the playlist in the description so you can go and check that out. But let's get right into this. Today what I'm going to be talking about is the time that I was put into quarantine. Yeah, you heard that right. I was put into isolation, or as other people most commonly known as quarantine. So I get locked away to stop other people from getting whatever I have. In this case it was an infectious disease or infection. I'm not sure if it was a disease. I'm just going off memory here because it's no fun if you look things up. It's always better to go from your memory. An infection called C. diff, which if I remember correctly, to put it as the most lightly way as possible, it turns your shit into water, and it is highly contagious when you have a compromised immune system like myself and everyone else in that ward had. I was locked away, I was put into quarantine with a massive sticker on my door saying, "Bam! You are now in quarantine and you cannot leave and no one can come in." And I was like, well, isn't that fan-fucking-tastic? As if anything else could get worse, now I've got to deal with this. Of course, it wasn't to the extent where people are coming into my room with fucking hazmat suits on, no. They just come in with a yellow apron with a face mask, that's it. There's specific rules you have to follow if you want visitors, like they have to wear aprons and then they have to wash their hands thoroughly after and all that shit, just to make sure no one else gets it. Your arse is never off the toilet seat. This was the point of probably my lowest point in hospital. I'm very open about hospital, but there are some things that do have to be behind a closed curtain, and I won't go into further detail about certain things that happened in those days when I was in quarantine, but I will tell you the majority of the part. So basically, this whole room, it's not a fun place to be. You are sitting in the room with the same 4 walls around you. This room is no bigger than my setup, yeah? No, actually, it's about half the size of my room. Half the size of my room, which is about what? I don't know how big my room is. But basically, it's a small room. And when you're stuck in this room with the same 4 walls and only yourself to really keep company, it gets lonely, and especially in this time when you can't even call anyone to speak to, it's pretty hard. I did what any boy that age would do, and I just decided to whack it all day in quarantine. Because what else can you do when you've got no one there and you've only got yourself? It's the best thing to do. It's very relaxing, reduces anxiety, it's got all the positives, and no one can walk in on you because you've got a quarantine sticker on your door and no one wants to be seen. So you're just there chilling. The only thing you've got on your TV is Netflix, because yeah, Netflix is a wonderful thing to have in a cancer unit because all you can do is watch TV and vegetate away. It's fun. One of my favourite TV shows to watch while in hospital was fucking Orange is the New Black, because it was my only excuse to see titties, because you're not allowed to look up those specific websites on the hospital internet because they're all blocked. But there was one thing that annoyed me the most about being in quarantine, and that is the fact that there is the most ignorant people on the planet. So I'm not sure what the rules are in other places, yeah? But in Scotland we have this thing called smoking free hospitals, yeah? Where you're not allowed to smoke in or around the hospital, yeah? But I don't know why people think it's okay, yeah? I don't know what goes through their head, yeah? But my room is on the outside of the hospital, so you can see out. What happened to be next to my window was also the entrance to the hospital. And I can even see from my window the big fucking no smoking sign, yeah? But I don't know what goes through a smoker's head when they have to light up right next to my window when it's open, and all I can get inside me is a big massive whiff of secondhand smoke when I'm in quarantine trying to watch Orange is the New Black. I'm basically dying here at this point, and people decide to be like, you know what, let's give this kid lung cancer. I'm like, the amount of times I wanted to go to that window and fucking scream down their throats and decapitate them on sight. Oh, you don't even know how much I wanted to do that. If you smoke now, that's your decision. But ever since then, I've just wanted to go to every other person that smokes and just shove their cigarette up their nose and fucking... Ugh, it's just the most infuriating thing ever. Lying in that bed at your lowest point where you can't really move, it's not fun. As I keep saying, it's not fun. Get that through your head, it's not fun. It's to the point where you can't even wipe your own arse. Like, that bad. You don't have energy to lift a fingernail. But you want to get things done, so you do as much as you can, because you don't want to get to that stage. I was very, what they called, buzzer happy. So you get the little nurse call buzzer, press it whenever you need something, or whenever something important arises. My dad absolutely despised this button because I would press it whenever I wanted the TV changed or couldn't reach the TV remote. Which, to be fair, it's not my fault. I can't move to prick it up. I've got tubes attached to me. I've got zero energy. I want to get that remote because I want to put it on something else, right? Deal with it. Half the time my dad was there, with times he wasn't there, I felt like the most of the time. Which is really bad because he was there from 8 o'clock in the morning to like 6 o'clock at night. He was doing full shifts of being there with me. And then my mum comes in for the last 3 hours. They were there the whole time, but I don't know why. It would just go through my head where I was like, I'm always alone. Really weird. And nights get the loneliest, especially when you're in that stage of quarantine. No one wants to come in. When you're in quarantine, it is recommended that people don't come in your room. They have to stay outside. When it's the summer heat and you're asking to put on the heating because you're freezing and you have no body heat because you're 43 kilograms in weight, no fat on your body, and stay still all the time, you get cold really easily. Even though I'm pretty sure in the summer of 2015 it skyrocketed like 24 degrees, I was still freezing cold and I wanted the heating on. So this is going to be a bit shorter episode because I don't really want to go into more detail about quarantine, just because of the fact that it's not a very nice thing to talk about. The things I've talked about already is pretty disgusting. It does get into that gritty and bitty bit. So I think I'll just stop myself here. If you did like this video, please do leave a like on it. It does mean a lot to me and it gives me a really good indication of how people are enjoying the series so far. Be on the lookout for my video tomorrow and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye!